What's up, Instagram? Happy Monday. We are back live at 5. I don't know if you're from Baton Rouge or if you're from Louisiana or if maybe your city has a live at 5. But the other day when I was like, I'm gonna do a live at 5 because I used to work downtown, I was like, whoa, throwback memories. Okay. So, like I shared with y'all, we're gonna talk about training today. And I'm gonna wait because it's like 2 minutes. And I'm really excited because I really like to talk about training. And it's notifying me that I am online, which I know. So, and I'm super pumped. So today I got my first real member in my Grace and Grit membership. And I'm so pumped because I'm just excited. I'm excited for her. I'm excited for everything to continue to fall into place. I just finished today my cue guide, which is a visual cue guide, obviously. A visual cue, like, it's a document with characters showing you like a squat and the muscles that are working, all the different movements, like all the different lifts. I don't know, I think it's like 20 pages. And also a link to my YouTube for each lift and details on like different cues. It's just, I call it a cue guide. So I'm really excited because I just updated it. Everything I pretty much have, definitely all the documents that I have are just constantly going to be updated over time, right? As I grow in knowledge, as I get better, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I'm going to have that in the membership this week. And I'm really excited because like my clients love it. It helps their mind muscle connection so much in training when they can visually see the movement pattern of the joints and the muscles and how you're supposed to move. It helps their mind muscle connection so much better. And then that alone literally helps progress. So I'm really excited. So if you have not joined my free membership, go join it. It's free and you're gonna learn a lot. If you want to learn, don't come over here if you don't want to learn. And if you want to learn even more, join my Grace and Grit membership. I probably should take this filter off, but we're just gonna deal with it today. Because it's just like your face, but it's okay. So the Grace and Grit membership, $40 a month. You can cancel anytime. It's just an ongoing education. It's amazing. So excited. It's already amazing. It's going to only be amazinger. So, all right. So this will be part of it. I'm going to so this is on live, obviously. So I'm going to, the information that I have that I'm going to go over, I am going to put in the membership because it's just detailed information along with this. And just like the macro calculation worksheet is along with the video over there. So if you want to learn how to calculate your calories or calculate your macros, literally it's a step-by-step guide. Like you cannot go wrong. It's literally every step that you need to take in the worksheet. Like it's so simple. If you don't ever tell me that you were struggling trying to figure out your macros when you could literally give me $40 and you go calculate it, or actually, because I'm doing a free assessment with all my new members. So I'm gonna do all the calculations. You just join the membership and start learning. $40. Okay. And I'm gonna talk about my other programs after this. All right, let's start talking about training myths. Not necessarily training myths. So like my goal with these lives is to teach y'all, go through myths, go through things like misunderstandings, like what I was confused about, what my clients were confused about, like just normal confusion things about training and nutrition and lifestyle and all the things, competing. So today, and I'm gonna do training, and let's just dive into it. Weight loss versus fat loss. So that's a big misconception that one, it's not two different things when it is very different. And that's where people go, so when you weight loss is going to reflect, so weight loss includes water, muscle, and fat loss. Yeah. Okay. It kind of went dark. Weight loss includes water, muscle, and fat loss. Muscle. We don't want to lose muscle. I don't want to lose muscle at least. So weight loss that's where the scale will go down, right? When you are losing weight, You are losing body fat, losing muscle mass, and losing water retention. So that's weight loss. Fat loss is reducing the body fat while maintaining muscle mass. So, and that's where, I guess it's just gonna be dark. Hopefully it's recording. Well, this one's recording, if it's not. That's where people get in a hurry, right? Like, there is different levels, and I call it the cost of getting lean. And I have this whole document about that, all the different levels. And so when you're at a level of fat loss is your goal. That is a lot slower than weight loss, right? And that is not reflected on the scale. And you can be at 18% body fat and be in a fat loss stage where that even plays even more so with your mental health, right? Like with the scale, we could drop calories a lot. And I'm thinking of one of my clients specifically. We could drop calories a lot and have the scale come down quicker. But what's also going to come down quicker is your muscle mass that we've been building for 2 years. Or we can just stay in, everybody's going to be different as far as like how you go about this whole thing, really, because we have to account for your mental health, right? If I knew that she wasn't able to handle, if I knew she needed to see the scale go down, this is, I guess, the easiest way to say it, then I would 100% drop her calories, and that would be what happens, because that's inevitably what happens when you are in a metabolically good place, which all of my clients are or are on the way to be in, because that's what we do. Number one focus. Let's get your metabolism where it needs to be so that we can play this game smart, right? So the difference between weight loss and fat loss is not reflected on the scale, whereas weight loss is reflected on the scale. Fat loss, the ultimate goal of whether you are losing weight and that is your goal, or you're losing body fat and that is your goal is to always retain, if not build, muscle mass. Because going into the next, we'll count all of them. So let's one thing at a time. So weight loss versus fat loss. So does that make sense? So right now for me, I'm 16 weeks out from my first show this season. There is some weight that I need to lose. So, and that's kind of where that little funny spot I was talking about earlier. I don't have 30 pounds to lose, right? Or 40 pounds to lose of weight. I have probably 5 pounds of weight, maybe, and then probably 10 pounds of body fat that I need to lose. And while doing that, I want to continue to build and definitely continue to maintain the muscle mass I haven't put it on, that I have, right? So hopefully, I guess the easiest way to, and I do go into this whenever in that worksheet, that how to calculate calories worksheet, I do talk about this, because you have to, one of the variables is knowing your current body fat, and without having to go get it calculated or to do a calculation like yourself. This is just an easy way to kind of give a roundabout for the equation that you're going for. Fat loss is pretty much, like I said earlier, when you're in the 10 to 15 pound, maybe 20 pound that you need to lose, right? And so I know a lot of y'all are competitors. Also know a lot of y'all are not competitors. So just make sure that you understand it don't matter either way. But with my girls, we prep for life. I have some competitors, and even with my competitors, there's still a boundary that I get them to make clear at the very beginning, because I am not going to mess up. That's just not me. I'm not going to coach like that. That's not how I'm going to coach. I'm not going to mess up your hormones and your metabolism any more than I already am. I'm willing to do X, Y, and Z, right? When it comes to prepping a client for a competition. What I'm not willing to do is, because I know what's going to happen on the latter end. I know how it's going to affect her having kids. I know how it's going to affect her metabolically and hormonally. I have my own personal boundaries and for myself and for clients. And then, so I stay adherent to that. And then also have prep clients who I make very clear up front what they expect, and make clear also what I'm not willing to do, what they are willing to do. So very clear on expectations when it comes to a prep client. in my program, because I'm not going to have you doing 5 hours of cardio, or I'm sorry, that's not even realistic. So 2 hours of cardio is what like a normal thing in the bikini world or competition world is. I'm not gonna have you do that because you got kids, you have a husband, you have a life. We're either gonna be together long enough to where that's not necessary, or I'm not your coach, right? And that's okay. That's completely okay. I'll help you find a coach, but it's not gonna be me. I'm not gonna destroy your metabolism for what you think you want right now, right? So kind of got off a little bit on that, but hopefully that makes sense. So weight loss versus fat loss. Weight loss includes water, muscle, and fat loss. That's what weight loss is. And fat loss is reducing of body fat while maintaining muscle mass. And fat loss is not reflected on the scale. So again, if you have any connection to the scale, just make sure that you're mentally know that. If you just know the difference, then you can it makes sense. Like, okay, well, I've been progressive overloaded and I've been applying progressive overload to my training for however long. The scale might not move, and that's okay. You want it to stay. I want it to stay at 160, because if I stay at 160 and I'm building muscle, because I know I am, because I'm progressive overload every single week, then that inevitably what happens is you build muscle. And what happens whenever you build muscle is you'll lose body fat. Like, that's just how it works. Literally, it's just how it works. There's no magic. So going into the next one, cardio is king for fat loss. No, it's not. It's not king for nothing. Cardio burns calories, but it also burns muscle. So good example, girls that do the Stairmaster thinking that they're building leg muscles. No, that's not how it works. You're building leg muscles when you are targeting the muscles. Like, you're not building, not efficiently at least. Do I think that it's building a little bit? If it's not overused, if you're not overdoing it, yeah, maybe. But it really depends on how experienced you are. If you are a competitor and you train bodybuilding style training, and you train legs and glutes and all the things, bodybuilding style strength training, don't hop up on the Stairmaster thinking that that's going to build muscle. No, you're a little bit farther than that, right? So taking somebody that does not train and putting them on there and saying, yeah, so it does build a little bit. But one, if it doesn't build anything, if it's overdone, any cardio, this is any cardio, right? That's why I don't do sprint. That's why I don't do HIIT. HIIT just breaks down muscle tissue. My thing with the Stairmaster, and why I definitely don't ever have clients do it, definitely will not do it myself, is because I did it for so long. I fucked up my hips so bad because of the Stairmaster. I mean, and I have friends that are competitors. I'd be like, I don't care what you say, I'm gonna do the Stairmaster. Okay, that's fine. I'm not trying to tell you that I'm right. I'm trying to help you learn through my experience, because it's not like I didn't have any. It's not like it's just like me saying getting in a car, drinking and driving, after my friend just said that you shouldn't get in the car drinking and driving. I just did that and I got in a wreck, blah, 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 and me doing it anyway. Like, I had a lot of problems because of this. If you don't want to listen to me and learn from me, then fine. That's all it is, right? Like, I don't care. I never care to be right. I'm just trying to share my experience with you. But the Stairmaster 100% is why my hip problems I've hip problems since 2015, why I had that initial flare-up, why I had that initial injury. And to this day, why I still am very, very, very hyper conservative and just hyper aware of my hips. And obviously, I'm glad that happened, because I'm able to be at that. I want to be this cautious. My biggest thing with clients is I want them, so they'll learn through me. We're gonna be this cautious before you get injured, so you don't have to learn the way I did, right? Okay, so back to cardio. Cardio does burn muscle. Lower muscle mass equals higher body fat, poor body composition. So you literally can, when it comes to body composition for sure, even in a competitor, you can look at her and tell who does too much cardio and who has a not balanced food, like macro intake, just by the way their body holds on to body fat, literally. And so lower muscle mass, so cardio burns muscle. It does burn calories as well, but gaining muscle and having more muscle burns more calories than fat than cardio, sorry. So, well, yeah. So if you build muscle, that's going to burn more calories than if you do cardio to burn calories. Does that make sense? So there's no con of building muscle, and I'll get into being bulky in a little while. That's a whole nother one. So cardio is literally, so strength training burns more calories over time because it builds muscle. And muscle, more muscle you have, more calories that your body has to go through, has to burn every day, all the time. So your resting metabolic rate increases, your metabolism increases. The more muscle mass that you have, the more calories your body needs to burn every day at rest, all the time. So build muscle, increase build muscle, increase metabolism. That's going to better composition your body's going to have too, because of the less fat. So I think this is how I explain it. So here is your muscle, and here is your skin, and everything in between is body fat, right? And so literally you're like this. The bigger your muscle, the less your body fat, you're gonna have, right? So yeah, muscle increases metabolism, which burns calories, uses calories, which is energy, more than fat. Okay, building muscle is essential for a toned, balanced physique, body recomp. Cardio should be a tool, never the focus. Prioritize nutrition, strength training, recovery, and lifestyle would be first. And then on top of that, if you still are not losing weight or try moving forward towards your goals, then you can adjust cardio. So all to sum that one up, cardio burns muscle. The more muscle you have, the less body fat you have, the better your body composition is going to be, and the higher your metabolism is going to be. So, hopefully of that, you now know. All right, let me not do so much on the treadmill. Definitely not do so much on the Stairmaster. Let me just go eliminate or go. I want you to take let's just say you do 20 minutes of the Stairmaster. Just take 10 minutes off and go do 10 minutes of leg press. Take breaks, but switch it like that and see how much progress you make. Just in 2 weeks, just do that. Okay, keep going. Number 3, spot reducing fat is possible. So these are myths. This is how I kind of worded it, but spot reducing fat is possible. So going back to that really good visual, you cannot target body fat, especially in women, well, anybody, but only deal with women. Women, we're gonna hold belly fat first and probably the last to go. Not probably, the last to go. And it's only because, and so when I say belly fat, between pretty much our belly button and our thighs. But all of that is very important underneath there. And so one of the jobs of fat, like body fat, is to protect all your organs. And all of our important ones are right there. So it makes sense as to why it is the first place that it goes. It's the last place that it leaves. So just know that. And that should help, hopefully, when things, for me at least, and with my clients, if it makes sense, for me, the questions get less and less, and I start to, that's how you trust the process. You trust the process because you learn the process, but you got to learn it. So now you know that this is just, it doesn't have to be, you can have a flat stomach, right? I'm doing my post on, I think Thursday is, I gained an inch in my waist and 30 pounds through my building season, in 1 inch. I still wear my same belts and the same holes as my prep, right? It's very important to me to keep my waist tiny all the time because it's very important to me to have a tight core, not just because of the aesthetic purposes, but because of the training purposes and the life purposes. I don't want lower back pain. I don't want neck pain. I don't want hip pain. I don't want knee pain. I don't want none of that. So I'll go work on my core every day. Okay, so let me go back. Cannot spot reduce body fat. Fat loss happens systematically. So just make sure that, again, the more knowledge and the more you understand how the body stores fat, lets go of fat, stores carbohydrates, stores all the things. The more you understand, the more, the less anxiety you have about what you need to do to achieve whatever you're trying to achieve, right? Okay, hey, everybody. I'm so excited. Okay, so building muscle in the problem area improves appearance. Hey, thighs. So this is a good one. Thigh, adductors, glutes, hamstrings. So a lot of girls, I was just talking to one of my challengers about she does not like her thighs. Very common, very normal. And while you can lower your food, you can do whatever you want to do with your food, that is going to be something that you build. Like it's just the muscle. Build the muscles, and there it's a little bit different because there's not like one target. It's not like you're dealt, right? It's not like even here, even women that like want to lose weight here, I'm like, all right, let's just build your biceps, build your triceps. Obviously nutrition, that's going to be a huge role, but if we're just looking at the muscle part, let's just build that, right? Your thighs is going to be the adductors, the abductors, even your glutes, your hamstrings, to just pull up your glutes, not pull down your hamstrings, but lift your glutes and just kind of stretch your skin out, if that makes sense. Like for me, that helped visualize. When I can visualize things like, oh, well, that makes sense to just build the muscle and the body fat goes away. Like build the muscle and the cellulite spreads out. Like, does that make sense? So hopefully that visual, I need to like draw a visual. Yeah, I'll try to work on something with Canva with that, because that really helped me when I was learning. That's why I did the Q guide, because and still even to this day, when I'm trying to hit these very, very small, like rear delts, even to this day, sometimes I have trouble activating because they're small. They're just a small muscle, and there's a lot more bigger muscles around the area that rear delts are that will take over simply because they're just bigger. So being able to target these specific spots I don't even like, so I'm saying target the spot reducing fat. You can't target to spot reduce fat, but you can target to build muscle. And inevitably what happens when you build muscle is you lose body fat. So I guess that would be a good way to put it. Yeah, that would be actually a really good way to put it. Hopefully that makes sense. So let me know if that makes sense. Nutrition plays a huge role in how your body stores fat. And so I learned this a long time ago, and it makes clear sense. So your body can only store carbohydrates in certain places, right? It only stores muscle. You already know that it stores protein in your muscle cells, and carbohydrates, it only can store in a certain amount of carbohydrates, but it can store fat from your head to your toe. So that is why you have cellulite, right? And you can have it all over. That's why you have pockets of, so cellulite is pretty much just little pockets of stored body fat all over. And you can have it all over because your body can store fats to any amount. So even if you overeat carbohydrates, even if you're on a low-fat diet and you overeat carbohydrates, once your body hits the capacity of the amount of carbohydrates that it can store in the places that it can store it, which it cannot store it in only a few places, then it is going to take the carbohydrates and it's going to turn it into fats, and store it as body fat. So people that think, I don't know, there's a lot of things people think, right? There's not a better way. Like, it just is what it is. The body is going to do exactly what it's going to do because that's how it's made to do it, no matter how you try to manipulate it. So don't try to manipulate it. Just learn how to eat a quote unquote balanced diet for your body. Figure out your macros and be consistent with that. And it's not even, macros are not like the magic diet. All it is because ultimately every diet, whether you do keto or you do low carb or you do Mediterranean diet, whatever it is, they're all macros. Like macros are just flexible dieting. What I teach clients, what I use myself, is just a boundary, like a very clear boundary that you need to adhere to to reach the outcome that you want. That's it, right? It's not even about anything else bigger than that. It's just what it is. So nutrition plays a huge role in where your body stores fat, because the body was made to do exactly what it's going to do. If I could teach you anything, is that your body is made to be a machine. It's made just like a machine. But where we go wrong is we don't treat it like a machine. And for a long time, right? So ultimately my goal is to get into kids' heads, get into parents, get into mom's head, how to actually eat, how to be flexible with their food, how to dine out, how to eat homemade food, like whatever they want to eat, be able to be flexible with it. But also so you can teach your kids so that they can know before the world teaches them the wrong way that the role of nutrition in their life, in their body, but definitely in their life. Okay, so imbalanced nutrition leads to fat and fat storage in unwanted areas. Just like what you see in the mirror, remember 90% is nutrition, not just training. So being that this is number 3, spot reducing fat is possible. It is not possible to spot reduce fat, but you can spot reduce, or you can spot and target muscle like growth so that you can grow efficiently in specific areas. And then nutrition is going to play a big, big part of reducing body fat along with building muscle. Okay, moving on. Lifting heavy makes you bulky. Lifting heavy does not make you bulky. I definitely, in my G4 community for sure, like documenting this prep. I've documented like my journey for a long time, since 2015, 2014 maybe. And I share my weights that I push. And a lot of people, definitely are years ago, I don't really get too much of it now, but years ago, they were like, you shouldn't share your weights because then, and I get this because one time I did have this happen where a girl was in the gym, it was like in person though, and she saw me on the treadmill, she saw like what I was running at, and this was not even on social, this was like in person. She saw what I was running at and she was like, oh, I want to lose weight, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, well, this really works for me. Didn't even think about so I said, this is when I was doing, 10 sprints. So 10 sprints a day. Like this was probably 2016. 10 sprints a day. That was my cardio. Anyway, so I told her what I was doing and she was like, okay. And she gets on the treadmill and goes at the speed that I was going at, which was like 11 miles an hour. I didn't even think about telling her, go at, 9 miles an hour, 8 miles an hour, any miles an hour, just kind of go up. I didn't think about telling her that. And sure as hell enough, she flew off that treadmill. Flew. I was like, shoo. I learned you got to be very, very intentional with how you tell people to do things. And so, but online, on social, when I put like my weights that I push, people always say like, don't do that because people are going to try that, or they're even like, people are going to try to eat your macros, whatever, and I get it because I've had that experience. But at the same time, I want the girls, for me at least, and what my following that I know of at least, the people that are watching me are going to see me pushing, hip thrusting 400 pounds, and they're going to go into their training and be like, well, Gracie pushes 400 pounds. Like, I could probably push more than 150 pounds. I could probably push more than, 30-pound dumbbells, whatever it is. And so for me, it's worth that to push the girls that I have just over all the years. So know that long before you get to be too bulky, you're going to know that you need to pull back. Like, that's my best way to put it. Like, you're going to know 100%. Like, you could lift heavy the rest of your life and you're never going to get bulky. I promise you. And if you do, and this is where the misconception is because your nutrition is not in line with your goal. So, and this kind of goes into the next one, which is the seasons of life, or seasons of this journey. What makes you look bulky is because you're adding body fat on top of lifting heavier. So you're adding muscle, but you're also adding a little bit too much body fat to make you think that you gain muscle quickly. And I kind of laugh because if it was that easy, people are like, I gain muscle so quick. I'm like, no, you don't. You don't. You just gain extra body fat. Because if it was that easy to gain muscle, then one, I would have it because I've been trying to gain muscle for 11 straight years with perfect nutrition and perfect training. So tell me the secret, right? So it kind of, again, I always go back to logic. If it didn't make sense, if you're the only one that thinks that you gain muscle quickly and you have the secret to building muscle that everyone else in the world is trying to figure out, like, don't you think that that's something you need to dive into, and make some money if that's the case? But it's not. It's not the case. That's just your way of justifying to not push heavy or to not change your diet or whatever you're trying to justify. So train hard, train heavy. Like, you're never going to be too bulky. You do not gain muscle quickly. If you do, DM me and prove me wrong. That is just, your nutrition is not in line with gaining muscle and reducing the amount of body fat you either have or adding to, right? And so going into the number 5, the seasons of your physique journey, there are only 2 seasons, and this is a huge misconception. People think that there's a prep. Look at my tan. People think there's a prep, a reverse, and then a building season. And then some people think that there's another one, maintenance. You so confused because Jesus, that's like quarters. You have to quarter your year up for the rest of your life. Like, that's just confusing as hell anyway. There's two things that you do. You either are in a deficit or you're in a surplus, period. That's it. You're always building muscle. I'm in deficit right now. I'm in a pretty damn big deficit, actually. And I'm building muscle. When I'm in my surplus, when I'm in my reverse. So in your reverse and your building season are the same thing. They're the same thing. Period, right? Because you're either in a deficit or you're in a surplus. So don't overcomplicate it by thinking, like the other day I got a message from somebody, and she was like, I don't even know what it was, but she was like, I am just finishing my building season, and I get them all the time as far as like messages, but just know there's 2. You're either in a deficit or you're in a surplus, one or the other. Which one are you in? And literally, you can message me that, and I'll tell you what to do from here. But there's not a 3rd, and there's definitely not a 4th season. And so where the reverse part, where people get confused is because, so in a prep, in a reverse, like I said earlier, you're always building muscle. You're in a deficit, you're still building muscle. If you're progressive overloading, you might not be doing it efficiently in a prep or in a deficit, but you're still building it, but just not as efficient. Same thing goes with being in a surplus. You can be in a small surplus, which is going to keep body fat down and build muscle, but it ain't going to be able to build muscle efficiently, but it's going to build muscle still. Or you can be in a little bit bigger surplus. And this, I do have this on that macro calculation worksheet. If you want to build muscle more efficiently, then you could be in a bigger surplus. I just had this talk actually with a client because she's been with me for like 2 years, and we've done our reverse. We've done our prep. We've done the deficit. We've done the surplus, or not a surplus, so just reverse. And now, because where she is mentally, we can take that small surplus where we were keeping her surplus small to keep body fat minimal, and we can make it a little bit bigger because the scale doesn't bother her at this point. Can we make it as big as my surplus? No, not yet, right? So I compete at 140. I'm at 165 right now with zero emotion. That's just part of it, right? That is not for everybody. Actually, it is for everybody, but they got to get to that level first, and it's a mental thing, right? So I think that's where people get confused. But still, whether the surplus is this big or this big, it's the same thing, right? So and you're reversing. If you reverse, I guess another thing to consider is, are you in a reverse or are you in an off season? So everybody says I'm in or I guess I wouldn't say that. Are you in a building season or are you in off season? To me, we have no off season. Like you just on. You're on and then you're off when you die. So that confuses people too. Because I'm like, that's why you don't know what to do. It's very clear, and so it's very clear when you know why you stay adherent to your prep is because you have a clear end goal. So have a clear end goal in your building season. Then you would stay adherent to that. And when life comes and things are worth it, and when I say things are worth it, even within that, we got to create boundaries, right? Otherwise, you can be just worth it all the time. No, there's so much mental growth that has to happen for you to get. So whole body health is what I coach, right? There's so much mental growth that has to happen before you get to where nothing can come between you and the outcome that you want, right? Not food, not whether it's you're in prep or in your building season, your reverse, whatever you want to call it, your maintenance. There's so much mental. So I guess the biggest thing with this one is this question of the seasons is you don't want to overcomplicate it. So ask yourself if am I in a deficit or am I in a surplus? Most of you probably don't even know, but know that if you just minimize all the BS, and that's, hopefully I was able to do that. I'm kind of like sporadic right now, like brainless, but hopefully I was able to just eliminate, and I'm going to go back through these like as a review, because I want to just make sure that I help you clear the confusion in your head, because that's the only time that you're going to ever be able to see clearly. And this applies to everything in life. You can't, with your husband, with your boyfriend, if you're looking for a boyfriend, or, everything. If you have people in your head that are just telling you their opinions and all the different things, and you're reading, the other day I was talking to a girl who's interviewing coaches, and while that's great, you ain't gonna, I bet you right now, that's 2 weeks ago, she probably still ain't hired a coach. Because why? Because she's got too many people in her head telling her this, that, and the other. They probably all saying something different. So just close your eyes and pick. You'd be a lot better off just closing your eyes and picking. That's saying that these are the coaches that you feel called to be talking to in the first place, right? So, but that, even within that, that's the boundaries that we've got to create. We got to build around everything in life. Everything in life. Like, everybody looks for balance. If you're looking for balance in any part of life, start creating boundaries. Boundaries. I know everybody probably talks about it, but you can't have balance without boundaries. So hopefully, again, I'm gonna run back through these just to help clear your confusion, so that you can just think less and work efficiently. Like, that would be the goal, because it's not complicated. Jesus, building muscle is not complicated, and it's damn sure not as complicated, and losing body fat is not complicated as the world makes it out to be. The other day I saw a really, really, really like high, like, even I've followed this person for a long time, and very, very knowledgeable. And what he was saying was, or what she was saying was, that mind muscle connection is overused and should be eliminated, because it's not that big of a deal. Like that kind of stuff, I'm like, shut up. Like, that just confuses everybody, because it is important. Until you get to a certain level in your journey, that is very important. And to be honest with you, at least to me, it's still important. And like my muscle connection and time under tension is what they're talking about. But for someone that doesn't know what that is, or even know a little bit about it, they're going to be so confused. They're going to be like, wait, I thought that you're supposed to increase time under tension. Why are you telling me that it's not important? Like, I don't like that. Because now you're just confusing everybody. And it's just so that they hire you as their coach, or buy your program, or whatever it is. I don't like that. So that's why I create the content that I do. That's why I created my G4 community, so that you could just literally go over there and you can get, I have a lot over there already, but I'm just going to post there for the rest of my life. And there's so much that you're going to be able to learn in that community. And you're not going to need to question if it's BS or not, because it's not. I'm going to tell you it's not. I don't need nobody's money. I don't need anything. I just need you to learn so that you could be better. And so, yeah, if you haven't joined my community, go join it. Definitely, if you are confused and you're just like, because again, this is that for me, when I read that post, I was very, just like, man, because I've been following this person for a long time, and I'm like, I like them. I have very good expectations of people, as far as I can read people, and I did not expect that coming from this person, but it is what it is. I don't care, but I was kind of like, well, you're not really that good. Like, there's still some connivingness here, and not cool. Okay. Let's go recap, and then I'll let you go, because, yeah, it's been 30. My goal is to keep this under 40 minutes. I got 4 minutes left. Okay. Weight loss versus fat loss. So fat loss is not reflected on the scale. Weight loss includes water loss, muscle, and fat loss. Fat loss focuses on reducing body fat while maintaining muscle mass, which is what you want to do. No matter how much weight you need to lose, your goal is to always maintain and continue to build muscle, period. And that might mean slower scale numbers going down, but your inches are going to go down quicker. Your body composition is going to change quicker, 100%. So just make that note. Cardio is not king for fat loss. Cardio burns calories, but it also burns muscle when overused, which overused, don't think that that's just like a million hours. Overused is very, very few, and it's going to change between each person, but it's not a lot. So be intentional with your cardio. Cardio should only be used as a tool after nutrition, strength training, recovery, and lifestyle are in alignment first, and then we add cardio. Cardio burns muscle mass. Lower muscle mass equals higher body fat and worse body composition. So to recomp your body, you need to build muscle, because building muscle burns more calories and recomps your body, and you have less body fat. So if you go read that or listen to that back and you see that, if you see it on the paper, the pros and cons of strength training, pros and cons of cardio. If you want to recomp your body, you are not going to want to do the cardio. Okay, spot reducing fat is not possible. Women carry body fat in their midsection from their belly button to their mid thigh, let's just say, because it does cover body fat. One of the jobs of body fat is to protect our organs and insulate. That's where our important organs are. So it's going to make sense as to why it would be first and last to come and go. You can focus on targeted muscle growth to target body fat loss, but you cannot target fat loss in any other way. So the only way you could target quote unquote fat loss is by building the muscle that is in the problem area and getting your diet in line with fat loss. Okay, imbalance in nutrition leads to body fat storage in unwanted places. So looking at somebody, being able to see very easily if their nutrition is not balanced, their body will not be balanced. Their body composition will not be what you ultimately want. Tight waist, shoulders, like a balanced look. Lifting heavy makes you bulky. Lifting heavy will never make a woman bulky, ever. The only reason that people think that it makes them add muscle quickly is because their nutrition does not align with what their goals are. Your nutrition does not align with keeping body fat low. So you add body fat and you add muscle, and that gives this illusion of building more muscle quickly or building muscle quickly. You cannot build muscle quickly. And if you can, just take this, then go into business and you're going to be a millionaire. But you can't. So don't tell yourself. I did make a note. If you're a mom, use your child's weight as a baseline for how much. If you have a 10-pound kid, which is not, most of you have 20-pound kids that you lift all day long, that is now your baseline of what you will not lift less than ever. So think about that. And think about deadlifting and squatting. And you do that all day long. Definitely if you have kids, definitely if you have a baby, but even if you don't. So let that, use logic here. Okay, lifting weights will build muscle and reduce body fat to give you the toned appearance that you want. Toned, I didn't even get to cover that, but toned is not it's just not a clear word. What does that even mean? Ask yourself, what does that mean? Well, it means to have muscle and be lean. So we're going to build muscle, and then we're going to have our nutrition aligned with fat loss. So eliminate the word tone, because it's not a clear, there's no action to get a toned body, but you can have action steps to get lean and to build muscle. And then you can combine them where they can be combined. So last one was the seasons of this journey. There's only two. You have a deficit and you're in a surplus. There's no building season and reverse and maintenance and prep. You're just in a deficit or you're in a surplus. And then within the surplus, you can be in a small, medium, or large. And that's going to depend on where you are mentally, to be honest with you. And if you want to not gain body fat as much, we're going to stay in a small surplus. And we're going to stay there for as long as we want to. And there's no time. This goes back to the reverse. I did a reverse live a couple weeks ago. Go get it. It's in the G4 community. But ultimately, that's the two seasons. So don't confuse yourself thinking that there's more seasons or more processes. The process is of building muscle and losing body fat is very simple. It's very simple. It's 2 things that you do. So, okay, I hope with even the recap, just again, clear the confusion of a couple things with training. I'm trying to cap these at like I said 35, 40 minutes. Now I'm 2 minutes over. So I'm trying to cap them because I could go on and on about all the things, and that's why I'm going to try and do them every Monday. So if you have questions, I am going to put a question box up like midweek. So anytime though, if you want to just DM me questions, I'll put them in my little notes. I'll tell you the answer, but then I'll put them in my notes to kind of go over and dive into. Hopefully you learned. So yeah, if you want to get the notes, my notes, they're a little bit more detailed. I will be putting them in my G4 community tonight. I'll put this on YouTube, I think. And so I'm really, really excited. I love doing these lives. I'm just trying to get a little bit more organized, like mentally, so that I'm not all over the place. Because I do like doing them at 5 because I'm a lot more like chill, you know. So I did the first one, I think at 3, and I was just, you know, had a lot of other things that I was like, you need to be doing that, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, maybe I'll talk about anxiety one day too. So anyway, hopefully y'all learned. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for my membership. I'm so excited for everything right now. And yeah, and I'm really, really loving this. Everybody's been liking the Diary of a Fit model, which is so cool because I've been able to like document it over in my G4 community. So if you are interested in I'm gonna have all the things, everything's documented like in detail over there. I'm so pumped. Okay, a lot of things. So y'all have a great Monday. Hope you learned. If you did learn, let me know what like resonated with you. And yeah, super pumped. Bye.